Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim for the Real Sports Talk. You can hit me up on Twitter at CashKelly_TRST, and you can also like the Real Sports Talk on Facebook. A relatively big story coming out of the MLB today that has been brewing for a few days is that Jim Thome has been traded to the Baltimore Orioles. In return, the Phillies will receive two prospects. They will receive, according to ESPN, or actually this is coming from the AP, they will receive right-handed pitcher Kyle Simon and catcher Gabriel Lino. I would tend to think that these are just kind of those two prospects that you just throw in there, and they really won't mean a ton. That's my guess. I talked to Danny Nobler of CBSSports.com, their senior baseball writer, last night on Twitter, and asked him if the Phillies are to trade Thome, do you see them getting a lot in return? And his response was he did not see them getting a ton for Jim Thome. And Jim Thome will bring a ton, no question, but he's a DH. We saw that. They tried to move him out and let him play a little first base. Really did not work out. And he's pretty much strictly a DH. He's 41 years old on a one-year contract. So really, he did not have a ton of value in terms of a trade. That being said, though, going to the Orioles, this is a very good pickup for the Orioles, a team that is still in the race. And these are the type of moves they're going to have to make. They're not going to go out and make these huge moves, these huge splashes, because they're not going to trade guys like Manny Machado. But if they can make some of these smaller moves and have them work out, then certainly that is what's going to help them make the playoffs and maybe even make a run if they were to make the playoffs, which is still in question because of the division they play in. Because, I mean, you look around at what the Orioles have done this season, for as good a season as they've had, it is still very possible that they could end up in last place in that division. I don't think it's going to happen, but this move should be one of the moves that makes sure that doesn't happen, that keeps them in the race throughout this entire year. Ultimately, for them, it's going to come down to, can guys like Jason Hamill continue to pitch well? A lot of people are saying that Jim Thome is done. I do not see it, though, and let me explain why. While Jim Thome this season is batting .242 with 5 home runs and 15 RBIs, in the 2 weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks that the Phillies played against the American League, Jim Thome had 4 of those 5 home runs because he was getting 4 to 5 at-bats every game at the DH position, including his first home run, which came in Baltimore at Camden Yards against the Orioles. So as a DH, he's still going to bring something. As a pinch hitter, he was something like 2 for 20, so that shows why the average is at .242. If you look at what he's done, what he did as a DH, his average would be enormously high. Now, he might not have enough at-bats for you to look at it and really take it seriously as an average, but the point is, as a DH, he was very successful. I think going to the Orioles for the rest of this season, depending on how much time he gets to play, you would think now that he will get some very good times. This will take a lot of at-bats away from Nick Johnson, that Jim Thome will get probably, my guess, he has 5 home runs. Now, I think he'll get close to 12 to 15 home runs before the season's over. That's how much of an impact I think he's going to make. And another reason that I think he's going to make a big impact is because he'll see more pitches in this lineup. For as good as this Phillies lineup was a few seasons ago, with Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, it's kind of all gone downhill to the point where it's a below-average lineup right now. Maybe not below average, but it's certainly not any more than average. The Orioles have a great young lineup led by Adam Jones, Nick Markakis. Mark Reynolds is a power threat if I've ever seen one. So he's going to see a lot more pitches in this lineup. When they were playing, to put this in perspective, when the Phillies were playing against the American League, Jim Thome was hitting in the cleanup spot. He went from being a pinch hitter to hitting in the cleanup spot. That's how much trouble the Phillies have had in their lineup, and it's gotten a little better recently. Unfortunately, the pitching hasn't. But the point is that Jim Thome is joining a much better lineup in the American League East, where a lot less is going to be he's going to be dependent on for a lot less. As a Phillies fan, Jim Thome is and always will be my favorite player of all time, because I started watching the Phillies in 1999, and they absolutely were a joke back then. I mean, guys like Robert Person, Kevin Jordan, the list goes on of just really bad players. And Jim Thome came in 2003 with David Bell and Kevin Millwood, and that was supposed to be the group that won the World Series. It didn't do that, but what it did do was it put them towards a direction of becoming a winning team, and not a dynasty, but a team that's won 5 straight NL East titles. It looks like that'll end this season. Went to 2 World Series and won 1. Even though he wasn't here during that time, I have great respect for Jim Thome. He's one of the nicest guys that's ever played in this league. And at 609 home runs, I think everyone's rooting for him to get past Sammy Sosa to move into lone spot for 7th all time in the home run list, because he's one of those fun guys to root for. I hope that really my rooting interest now as a fan goes to if the Phillies do not make it, goes to the Baltimore Orioles, because I want to see Jim Thome get a championship, and hopefully he gets that chance. Make sure you check out therealsportstalk.wordpress.com. Our MLB rumor analyst, Richard Janfrin, has a few articles, one about potential suitors for Zach Greinke, and one about the Carlos Lee to the Dodgers possibilities. So you're going to want to check that out. Check out Akeem and Cody on the website as well, the episodes that they had today. Akeem did his 10 Minutes on the Clock weekend show, and Cody also did his NASCAR weekend recap and preview for tomorrow's Spring Cup race. As well, Akeem is doing a blog every Friday, previewing the weekend, and then Monday kind of breaking everything down. So he's doing a lot of great work. We have some other great bloggers on that site, and if you want to submit anything, send it to cashkelly@gmail.com, KASH Kelly and AC@gmail.com, and I will see you guys later.